Most African governments have quite ambitious programs to develop their infrastructure, which is critical for their development. The type of infrastructure projects that they are focusing primarily on are infrastructure that promote trade. So this includes roads, railway lines, and then ports so that they can export their goods that they produce. There are other programs that are very pressing for the African countries, so often a tremendous amount of their budgets are swallowed up by healthcare, by education, and by the time they've supported those projects, there's very little left for infrastructure. So what they're doing is trying to form partnerships with international companies that can bring independently investment in their countries to the projects so that these projects can move forward. The big advantage is that when companies are involved in investing money of their own in African countries, they are really concerned that they want the projects to be successful. So there's an incentive from African governments to work closely with the private sector to help the development of these projects which they can't fund themselves. Casa Africa and IP3 have signed a memorandum of understanding where we feel that there's great areas of collaboration between the two missions of the two organizations, which are focused on economic development in Africa. We have a long history of working in Africa with African governments. Casa Africa has a mission of working at enhancing the relationships between Spain and the African governments, whether it is cultural or economic. So our missions are very similar. This was brought to my attention a few years ago, so we decided to seek an opportunity to see if we could bring our expertise and forces together to provide capacity building opportunities, primarily in West Africa, between Casa Africa and IP3. So what we will be doing is exploring opportunities to do joint training, maybe even to do some thought leadership and collaborate specifically with our clients, bring them to Casa Africa and vice versa. IP3 stands for the Institute for Public-Private Partnerships, and for 21 years we have been involved in developing and promoting public-private partnerships between governments and the private sector all over the world. We've worked in about 175 countries, and we've trained and worked with government officials to the number of approximately about 35,000. We work very closely with governments to help them build their institutional capacity. Many things fall under PPPs, but it's everything from establishing legal frameworks, determining whether the projects are economically feasible. But the biggest purpose is helping governments prepare for investment in public-private partnerships. Many countries have a financial gap, and so we help them find the ways and prepare their institutions so that they can attract investors to help develop their projects. One of the big initiatives that most people have heard about is the Power Africa initiative, which is taking place all over Africa. It's sponsored by USAID, and it's an Obama initiative, and we are one of the companies that was contracted to help work on this project. The Canary Islands is a very unique place. Geographically, it's part of Africa, but economically and politically, it's part of Europe, and it's a natural gateway to Africa. This has been very appealing to us. 4 years ago, I was introduced to the Canary Islands when I came here the first time, and I was very impressed with the infrastructure that you have here, the proximity to Africa, and then many companies that have decided to make the Canary Islands their base for logistic reasons. It's very easy for people to be based here, but yet to work in Africa. The other advantage about the Canary Islands is that you have an extremely well-qualified workforce, which is very, very eager to work in Africa, and that's an advantage. In many countries, when you say to people, let's go and work in Africa, people get nervous. In the Canary Islands, when you go and say to people, let's go and work in Africa, they say, we're ready, let's go.